What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Truck Driver Show on Shit Show and Extravaganza. Today, we have a long-awaited piece of gear. I've been bitching for years that MI Audio is almost impossible to get your hands on here in the United States. For some reason, they just don't like Americans. I'm sure that's not the problem, but it doesn't look good for them. You know, they go out of their way to make sure they don't happen. I even contacted the company back a couple of years ago, and the person who answers it, which I think, believe it or not, was the owner, had no interest in selling me an amp, which I thought was bananas. I'm like, what? he just didn't want to go through the hassle of it, I guess, of getting it to the United States. I don't know. I really don't know his reasoning for telling me that he didn't want to build one. It was a couple years ago, and I was angry at the time because I didn't like being told no. Now I'm older, Grant's only a couple years older, but I don't give a shit anymore. At one point in time, I really wanted to kind of be something on YouTube, and now I'm kind of like just that oddity of honesty and gear that you can't buy at Guitar Center. That kind of seems to be my thing, right? So what do we have here? I have my cheat sheet so I don't forget nothing. Do it all professional like. I'll keep it off camera, right? So supposedly y'all don't know I'm reading that shit. I don't need to read it for this. This is the MI Audio amplification, whatever you want to call it. I call it MI Audio because most of this stuff is tagged and labeled as MI Audio. They are out of Australia. They're one of the two companies that I can tell you can, if you find their stuff, you can buy it. You're going to be completely happy with the quality and the performance. One you can buy, the other one you wished you could buy because it's actually really affordable. This U.S. money, brand new, is $1,305. Brand new. Right out of a good smelling box. Finding one used in the USA, people are going to rape you. They are going to put the biggest, veiniest dick in your ass that they can find because they're rare in the United States. I got very fortunate. A friend of mine had some misfortune. His car got a little fucked up. So he sold this to me at a really good price. Granted, you might not think it's a good price, but then again, you're not looking at the fact that people that sell these scalp the shit out of people. And if you're one of those people, fuck you. You know what I mean? Stop selling gear for more than what it's worth. Let's be reasonable, alright? This whole gear acquisition and selling used gear and buying gear just to profit off it later so you got a good deal, so even your buddies, when they contact you on a deal, you can't give it to them. It's just fucked up. I'd never not give my buddy a deal. I'd always want to break even if I could, but I'm not going to charge my buddies extra just because it's a business model. Fuck that. You know, having someone in your back pocket that you're treating right, that's worth its weight in gold. Anyhow, back to this. This is the Megalith Gamma. It is an 80 watt. You have low power. You have high power. Honestly, I've not really messed with the high and low power. I put it on low and it was enough. Whatever it's doing is enough. We will put it on the high just to see what happens. But something tells me it's just going to get louder. Because it's 80 watt, but I think that it's a 30 and 80, even though nothing online says anything about it. But I think that's what this does. If not, if it has more gain, oh my god, it don't need it. This thing is just a beast, and the options on this thing will drive you crazy. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, I think I can get it better. Because it gives you too much. It's too much. But if you're like me and you chase tones and you like the sound of something, like the voicing of this amp is beautiful. It's wonderful. If you're into the brutes and you're into the hard rock, oh yeah, it'll stroke your wiener for you. It's a fucking amazing amp. Only bad thing I can say about really anything to do with MI Audio so far, I mean, I've tried some of their pedals, they're really good. This is the second amp I've played, first one owned. The other one was the regular Megalith. It's like 180 watts. It's ridiculous. Again, way too many options. But the sound of these amps is so unique. Like, doesn't really matter what you play, you're gonna find your voice in it, and your voice is gonna be a little different than what it is when you plug into other stuff. Which for amplifiers is it's a rarity these days because everybody kind of like, hey, this guy right here is doing really good. We're gonna sort of kind of copy what he's doing. That's the business model for today's generation of anybody doing anything, building guitars, amps, pedals, guitar strings, dildos, cock sleeves. It's all, once someone finds something that works, everybody copies that person to an extent. Alright? MI Audio, other than the fact that it is an amplifier, I don't think has really copied anybody. They've kind of found their own little thing. And from what I understand, the owner of this company is like a scientist or something, or some kind of professor. So that's why his business is run kind of fucked up. It's because it's not really like a business. Which I respect that. As much as I give that guy a bunch of shit at this point because he wouldn't sell me an amp, I actually respect that. Because I love supporting small builders. Like, and this is from Australia, okay? I'm hoping to get a Head First amp, which is another Australian company. They're like the only two companies from Australia that... well, actually, there's Ormsby Guitars. Fuck those guys, too. But, seriously, fuck Ormsby Guitars. This amp is worth having. 100%. Zero argument. Even if someone scalps you, I'm going to say for what they're scalping it for, I'm not supposed to say this, but you won't be upset spending the money. Okay? You just won't be. Unless someone's scalping hard. But most of the time, people are asking like $1,600 for it. So it's like $300 more than what you would pay to get it brand new, but it's still worth $1,600. Does that make sense? Alright. So let's talk about what powers this thing. Oddly enough, it's not powered by much. And it is violent, it is loud, and I'm kind of shocked that it only has what it has in it. So you have two 6550 power tubes, three 12AX7 preamp tubes. Okay? Everything in this, from the wood used to build it, the chassis it's sitting on, the knobs, the switches, everything in this thing is built with the best of the best top grade components. Nothing was done cheap on this amplifier at all. Even the top grate is ridiculous. The little breather. I mean, it's a breather. You can just use what everybody else uses, that carbon fiber plastic shit, right? No. He went with the real deal. You know, that's steel. It's the fucking real thing. Alright. So you basically have a pretty simple layout. You have a shared EQ. Okay? That's pretty much that, and the contour is the only thing that you will share between the two channels. Your clean channel, I will say this, if you bought this for beautiful cleans, you're not getting them. It's in the top 10 worst clean channels I've ever experienced on an amplifier. And it's because of the gain bleed. There's a lot of gain bleed going into it that just ruins it. It really just smashes it, and it's horrible sounding. But it is a clean channel, if you want to call it that. There's two separate gain controls for your clean and your overdrive. Damn, this morning is rough. You have 3 EQ voices per channel. Again, instant, individual master volume and master gain. And again, the contour is shared. On the clean channel, you have a 3-way switch for brightness, so it goes from like being a really scooped, dark, just messy clean to like your average clean to a really bright and chimey clean. And on the really bright and chimey, you can really hear that distortion bleed, gain bleed come through like bad. It's almost broken up to the point where you can play AC/DC with it. It's just horrible. And on the gain channel, it's an attack switch, which kind of tightens up your gain. You can go to being really rubber bandy, loose, like the stoner doom guys and death metal dudes are gonna fucking love that option because you can get that thing really loose, like legendary Mesa loose. You know, Ampeg VH40 loose. It gets loose. And then in the middle, it's kind of like your, I don't know, I'd just call it your straight up like rock and roll. It's got good mid presence, and it keeps your gain kind of like on the edge of being out of control, but not out of control. And then obviously the way to the right is tight and right. That's where I hang out because I'm old and I like tight and right. It's like with my women. Then you also have a mode switch for your gain, which gives you low gain, high gain, and or a low gain, a shared gain, which is both a little bit because when you put the gain in there, it changes the whole feeling of the amp. So it's like you have 20% of the low gain and 80% of the high gain put in there. It's actually very smart. You'll see. I'll flip the switches and stuff. I'll do the thing. Okay. You have a effects loop on the back. You can control the send and the receive on it. Return, send and return. We won't be showing how that works today because I don't want to hook a noise gate or anything up to this. I want you to hear just the amp the way it is. It's high gain, so it gets a little hissy. Not bad though. I'm actually quite shocked at how low the noise floor is because in this room, because it's a very small room, with all the lighting, I got the the LEDs, not to be confused with STDs, or EDs. But yeah, I pick up a lot of noise. So a lot of these amps, it's not really their fault. They're doing everything they can to be quiet. This one, it actually is very quiet. So yeah, as far as how does it stack with my ridiculousness behind me, I got what, 14 amps now? To the top 10. I would go top 5 though. It's somewhere between 10 and 5. It'd probably depend on the day. But it's definitely not in the top 5. Nope. Great amp though. Very, very, very happy to own it. It gives me a high gain option that does sound a little bit different. So let's watch my shitty intro thingy while I get this thing ready. I'm gonna use my Deviant signature linchpin, and yeah, gonna go into this. Gonna use the Arachnid 2x12 cab, being mic'd up with an SM57. The speakers that are in this cab are Eminence, it's a DV77, and Man of War. Alright? Very cool. Watch this little 22-second nugget of zombie version of me, and then this shit I use on the channel, and then I'll be back with a guitar in my lap. Stay tuned. See you in 22 seconds. Alright, so we are back. Yeah. So let's mostly through this really horrible clean channel real quick. So this is with the bright switch, I believe, in the middle. Yeah, bright switch in the middle. Alright, here we go. Let's turn off the vocal mic, asshole. All right, that's about as clean as it gets. So I'm gonna move the toggle back and forth real quick, and then we'll put a little gain on, and we'll get to the actual overdrive channel. All right, done with the cleans. So let's get chunky with it. Dun, 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 dun. And I accidentally turned the wrong damn volume, so plug your ears for a second. This could get nutty. I totally left the vocal mic on. I apologize. And yes, I did laugh because I think it's funny as shit. I'm literally about 6 sips into my first cup of coffee, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. Alright, let's just jam around for a minute. Turn the vocal mic off this time. All right, we're gonna tinker a little bit. We're gonna tinker. Turn some knobs. First thing we'll do is we'll play with the attack. Here we go. Alright, as you can tell, it's not a huge difference, but it definitely takes and gives you that little tubby, little regular, little tight. And it doesn't really change the character itself of the amp, which is really nice, because usually when you do that, the whole character changes, alright? Alright, the next will be the Drive EQ. Alright, and just to keep it simple, we're going to show you the 3 different types of contour that it has, which drastically changes things. Alright, here we go. Okay, it seems like we're on the contour. The contour to me is like the secret sauce for this amp. So as you can tell, you got 3 different types of contours in there that really give you a lot of options just by flicking a switch. Now we got a knob that's going to take, and it's really going to mess with this thing. Sits in reference to the mid-range, focusing with bass and treble, like where it sits in that mix. And it goes from being like very, very tubby to being extremely tight. Like tighter than a nun's butthole. Is that even tight? We don't know what the fuck they're up to. Alright, here we go. So it didn't take me very long after turning all this stuff to get it to where it sounds really decent, right? Or at least it sounds decent here in the room. I never really know what it sounds like until I go and put the pieces of the puzzle back together. But I love it. It sounds great. I'm really going to enjoy having this in my collection. And my collection right now is just, well, it's stupid, really. At the end of the day, there's nothing else I can say about my amp collection. It's just, well, stupid. It's just stupid. But yeah, that is the MI Audio Megalith Gamma. It's 80 watts. Oh, I said I'd go to the high just to see what it does. Shit, I almost forgot. I know y'all been sitting here waiting for that, right? going to say it did nothing. It literally did nothing. Maybe it's because I'm pushing it at bedroom volume, but, well, my version of bedroom volume anyway, which, as Sean Ward, will probably make it deaf. But I'm not noticing any difference here in the room. Maybe in the recording something will show difference, but it doesn't seem to matter whether it's on high or low. It sounds literally the same. And it might be just once you get to a certain point in the volume, how loud this thing actually will get. If that's the case, then it could end up being a smarter piece of gear than I think it is, because if you can keep to where your high and your low don't have noise degradation, meaning some amps, if you go down to 1 watt or 5 watt, if it's a 25, 50, or 100 watt amp, it just doesn't sound the same. This, whether it was in low or high, sounded to me here in the room exactly 100% the same. I would not be able to tell you. I'd have to look to see what it was on. I wouldn't be able to tell. It sounds exactly the same, which is smart. I don't think I have a lot of amps. I don't think any of them will do that. That have power. Is it called a power soak? I don't know. You can pick it to be a lower wattage for playing in bedrooms. They all sound different than when they're on their full potential. This one here, I could tell zero difference, which is pretty impressive considering literally the quality of amps I have is ridiculous at this point. This is the only one that does that. That is mighty impressive. Yeah. I might have to reach out and see what the hell is up with that. What is going on? Is it just a dummy switch, like to make you feel good? Or is it doing something like for real, you know? But yeah. Alright. Very cool. MI Audio. I finally got one. It's taking forever. I gave up about 2 years ago because the guy literally just... He makes smart stuff. I mean, obviously, this thing just fucking wails. I didn't even get into, like, you can deep dive on this thing. If you, like, sculpt in a tone, it will do whatever the hell you want. I mean, I'm only pulling just a little over half the gain this thing has available. That's not very much. This thing doesn't get squirrely until you get to the halfway point anyway, on anything. Whether it's bass, mids, treble, contour. Once you get to the halfway point, then things really start to happen. It's very gradual, and then from there it gets very extreme on everything. So yeah, very happy camper. Really love this amp. Thank you, Jordan, for, for having a crap car. Seriously, thank you for keeping that car. It served me well. But good news is if Jordan ever wanted to play it again, we can arrange something so he can get it back to his house. He's a good dude. He makes high wind amplification products. Yeah. So yeah, good guy. But huge thanks. Got this in my hands, and it's not going anywhere. So please, like with all these other amps, if I'm ever going to sell anything, you will know. So do not hit me up going, dude, I'll give you $200 more than you paid for it. No. I waited a long time, just to play a Gamma, let alone own one. Waited a long time. So, beta. That's what the other one's called. The full one's called a beta. And, yeah. Oh, stop grumping. Friggin' dogs think they run the universe, don't they? Last time I checked, they were the pets, right? Like, am I wrong on that? Don't look at me like that. You'll never get another bone the rest of your life. Yeah, that's what I thought. Look away. Yeah, just kidding. I give them treats all the time. I'm a sucker for it. They're good dogs. But it's probably breakfast time in there. Like, hey, fat boy, you don't skip a meal, but no, let us skip a meal. All right, so hey, with that being said, I need to go tend to the mutts because the mutt owner is passed out. She earned her money last night. Earned her sleep. Earned her money. Earned her sleep. All right. So yeah, very cool. Any questions? Or if you saw that I did something kind of quirky and you think there's a better way to do it because you own one of these, please reach out. This is a brand new amp to me. I have a lot of amps I switch in and out of. It's going to take me a minute to kind of like really, really learn my way through it. Holy shit. Maybe I should go back to bed. But yeah. so far, I'm very happy with it. And it comes with a foot switch, by the way, that literally is... Yeah. That's the foot switch. It's almost depressing, like when you have this awesome amp and you have this really shitty foot switch. Yeah. I don't know. It works. Does the thing. And at the end of the day, that's important. So again, MI Audio Gamma 80 watt, which is a half power amp for those crazy people. Now to get one of those head first ones. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, buddy. An Alta. I want one of those so bad. Yeah. Mercenary work slowed down though. You know, I ain't been sent out to clean up someone's mess for a nominal fee in quite some time. Just kidding, I'm not a mercenary. Look at me. I might have mercy on pizza or something every once in a while, but I'm not a fucking mercenary. Alright, y'all be good. Keep music evil. Bring metal to the children. Don't be a dick. For the love of God, subscribe to my shit, would ya? Gear used today. My signature deviant guitar is called a linchpin. That is going directly into the MI Audio with one fucking cord. Then I am into the 2x12 Arachnid cab, mic'd up with an SM57, has eminent speakers, a DB77 and Man of War. They go directly into that camera right there for your listening displeasure. Yeah, it's Sunday. We don't give anybody any pleasure on Sunday. It's Jesus' day. All right, cool. See you next video. Later.